In this video, you guys are going to be looking at the new Furitek Micro Komodo 3450 kV. As you can see, it is a lot smaller than the original Komodo. So we're going to be installing this in a pretty stock truck so you guys can see what's necessary in order to do it. Should be a pretty simple build. So we're going to be putting in this Lizard Pro ESC. This is 30 amp. Could go 3S with this later if you want to. Right now we're going to stick to 2S. But you can see the size difference going to make this a whole lot easier to install in here. So let's get to it. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to work on doing is we're going to go in here and remove the transmission out of here. We can still use the stock transmission, but we do have to put this little motor mount on. And that's what we're shooting for. All right, so we removed the transmission. Now we have a few more pieces of the transmission to take off. We'll start with the drive shafts, just to give us some room to work with. All this stuff, don't let it scare you. It all goes back together pretty easily. You might want to do a better job keeping track of screws than I'm doing currently. But I've taken this apart enough times that I know pretty much which screws go where. So I'm not super worried about it. And I've got so many screws from all the different builds I've done that I don't have many worries about not having enough to put it back together. I do advise ordering a spare screw kit for these just to have on hand in case you strip one or whatever. Hot Racing makes one, MofoRC has one. All kinds of options. So the next part is we got to get in here and remove this motor plate because we're going to be installing their motor plate on here. Just got to figure out how it's going to go on. So this is a pre-production one. I don't have any instructions, so we're just kind of going for it. Always makes for an interesting build. Got it from Furitek to do a review on, but I don't know don't know how it all goes together. I can reach out, but time differences make that tough. All right. So we're gonna have to remove all of this junk because we need to take that plate off. Another nice thing to have a bunch of are good tools. If you have the right tools, it makes this so easy. So easy to do. All right, so we're gonna take off the motor now. Again, MofoRC has a good set of tools you can get. That's what I'm using right here. As you can see, MofoRC. That's what we're gonna be looking at right there. So put the screws back in and move on to the next phase. All right, so now we're going to slide down our spur gear again, and then we need our little nut. I'm just going to try and get a little threading on it here. You guys probably can't see it. My man hands are in the way. Who remembers the Man Hands episode of Seinfeld? The girlfriend with man hands? Oh my gosh. So you can tighten it down if you hold this gear here. It keeps it from spinning. So you can use that to help tighten it down. Or you could shove in a driver or something, another way to help prevent it from spinning. So we're mounting the cable up to the top so we can get the screws into here. They're metal to metal, so we'll use a little Loctite and get this all buttoned up just like that. And I use this Vibratite. It is magical for a thread locker. This way. But can it fit is the question. Or do we have to do some cutting? Dremel time. We don't mind using the Dremel a little bit. And that is definitely hitting. All right, so we have it in there now. It's flipped around. Electronics tray has been removed. Just cut it with scissors right at the edge of the point there where the body post is. There's just a little piece of plastic. Just cut that off on both sides. It will drop out looking basically like this. So the next thing is I'm going to make some kind of a tray to sit back here to put electronics on. We moved the battery tray. We literally just turned it and put the long post, instead of being down here with the short one up here, we flipped it and we're just resting it up on the transmission. Should be fine. Could throw a zip tie around here if you wanted, but it's not going anywhere. So now we're going to make a little plastic piece to put here for electronics. We may even just repurpose this and cut it to fit right here and sticky our stuff to our, so we'll see how that works out here. All right, I got a mess of wires right now. We've got the receiver from the stock one plugged into channel 2 from the Furitek Pro. And then the battery here. And then this will probably mount to the side is my guess once we get it all figured out here. He's alive. Alright guys, I'm going to give a quick little comparison between, this is the larger Komodo motor in here, and this is running the new Micro Komodo. Nothing is, completely the same between the two trucks, which is kind of a bummer in the comparison. This one is decked out with, it's a comp truck. As you can see, it's the scythe, shocks, brass, all that kind of stuff, running a nice Avatar radio. This is going to be running pretty much a box stock truck with the new electronics and the a little bit better servo, but still running the stock radio. So it's not going to be an exact comparison, but we'll just give you a little bit of a clue of how slow you can still creep this thing. And keep it smooth. Now I do have it set to the low mode on the radio to allow me to have that. If I want more speed, I just switch that over to get a little bit more power. But we're just gonna kind of go for that slow, powerful crawl up the hill here. We should have enough wheel speed for it. But just nice, smooth power. Had it out up at the track today. Running good. See, that's where I don't have quite enough, so I'd actually just kind of flip it over here. This is where having a better radio is nice. Because this has the power. But you lose a little bit here. We'll go back a little bit on that lower slow crawl. You can do it. It's just a lot more finicky as far as how much you can actually pull to get it. But it does have some get up and go as well. So as you can see, for the smaller Komodo, it does really good. All right, we're gonna set this over here, out of the way, and run this guy, the little bigger motor. Also can creep. There it goes. Right in about here, you can really get that throttle getting it. These tires are grippier, bigger. It's gonna still need a little bit of that power up at the top end. But performance-wise, motors are very similar in my opinion. When I'm running the other one in the full throttle, I feel like they're pretty comparable. All right, switch this radio over. Now the truck itself isn't as smooth because the shocks are not as good, but pretty impressive for this little micro motor in here. It still gets up and gets it. Anyway, guys, just a quick little, not side by side, but quick video showing the two of them. Alrighty, guys, here they both are with the lids off. You can see the size difference between the two. This Komodo here is so much larger than the Micro. So it's amazing the amount of power that this thing is given out for this. I mean, is this going to have more? Sure, I'm sure it has a little bit more. But for doing tiny trucks like this, guys, these minis, super impressive. It's going to be a weight difference as well with the smaller motor setup. And, you know, in a stock configuration, you could probably flip that around even if you wanted. So, but yeah, I wanted to move it so I could get electronics and all that all wrapped up back here. I think we were running into it, hitting a few things anyway. So instead of cutting the battery tray up, I actually slid my battery tray forward, sat it on top of the transmission, and just kind of have things tucked in here that way right now. Anyway, that's a look at the two trucks, guys. Hope you guys are having fun RCing. Catch you next time.